I feel humbled, blessed, and elated because I never thought something that I came up with about 30 years ago today is useful for everybody, not only in Ghana, but in Africa and beyond.
Hello and welcome once again to Faces of Ghana on YEN TV. My name is Philip Abutiati and this is the show that gets you inspired. I always say if you don't get inspired on this show, you can't get inspired anywhere again. Today, we are speaking to Mrs. Veronica Bekoe. If you have used the Veronica bucket, and I'm sure you have, then you certainly should get to hear of her story because she is the brain behind the Veronica bucket. But today we'll hear from her, we'll hear how it all started, and we'll get to know more about her. But before we begin the conversation, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on all our social media platforms, and leave your thoughts, your comments, and your suggestions in the comment section below. Good morning, Ma, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
I trust you are doing well.
By grace, I'm okay.
All right, it's good to see you. We've heard about you, we've used your bucket, but it's finally good to get in touch with you and to see you face to face.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be on the show.
All right, we'd like to know a bit about you.
Okay. My full name is Veronica Bekoe.
Okay.
I'm a Ghanaian from Jamestown, but I was born at Swalaba.
Okay.
I had my basic education at the then government girls' school at Makola,
Okay.
and my secondary education at Abori Girls Secondary School.
Oh.
From there, I proceeded to the University of Science and Technology, where I read biological sciences. After my graduation, I was employed by the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Services, and posted to the Public Health and Reference Laboratory, College, where I worked for 44 years
Wow.
before retiring.
How do you feel when you see something that was your idea being everywhere? Now it's a requirement. You have to wash your hands before you enter supermarkets, before you enter shops, before you go places, even churches, schools. How do you feel?
Well, I feel humbled, blessed, and elated because I never thought something that I came up with about 30 years ago today is useful for everybody, not only in Ghana, but in Africa and beyond. So I'm grateful to God.
Now, could you tell us how the idea came?
Well, when I was at the Public Health and Reference Laboratory, I had the opportunity to do a survey on infection prevention in the laboratories, in selected laboratories across the country. So I visited a few laboratories at the different levels, like the health center level, the district level, the regional, and then the tertiary. And I realized that in facilities where they didn't have running water, the lab personnel were using bowls of water to wash their hands, which I thought wasn't the best because I had read that hand washing is the most effective form of infection prevention. So using this bowl of water, it means it's only okay for the very first person who washes his or her hand. All other people who subsequently use that same water, are they cleaning their hands or contaminating their hands? So I was just thinking to myself, what can I do to provide running water? And around that time, the people who sell porridge, they have started using these aluminium containers to sell their wares. So it just clicked. I think it was a divine intervention that I should have a tap fitted to these containers to provide running water. So I did that and it worked. So in my subsequent trainings, I was given the opportunity. I had the opportunity to do training on infection prevention. In my subsequent trainings, I use that container to provide running water to demonstrate to people that if you didn't have running water in your facility, you could get such a device to get you running water, and it's far, far safer.
I'm sure as the designer, there's a way that you expect people to go about it, using the bucket to wash their hands.
Yes.
Observing people, do they use it right? They use it the right
I
way?
wouldn't say so, because there are a few things you have to take into consideration when washing your hands properly. First of all, you wet your hands with water. Then you apply the soap to create a lather. You have to wash the palms, the back of the hands, in between the fingers and the fingernails. The friction rubbing should last for about 45 seconds to a minute. When you finish that procedure, then you rinse your hands with the clean water. Remember, I said when you are washing with the soap, wash the top of the hand, of the tap. So when you are rinsing you do same. When you finish rinsing, you are confident that the top of the tap of the Veronica bucket or your own tap is clean. So you can confidently close it, and that's the end of the story. Then you use tissue, paper tissue. You use it to make sure you wipe your hands and wipe it dry, and then throw it away.
Well, when you came up with the idea, did you put any sort of patent on it to make it yours?
Unfortunately, I did not. Number one, because I didn't put any commercial value on it. I just came up with this to help my colleagues in the health sector to control and prevent infection. I made a few attempts, but I gave up at a point, so I did not patent it.
How do you think the systems can help people, to patent their ideas?
I think patenting is a big thing, and I don't know there's enough education on or information on that. So I would advise that more public education is done on that. Maybe things have changed since my time. I don't know. But you hardly hear about anybody talking or discussing patenting, maybe among the lawyers, but the ordinary man in the street, do we know anything about patenting? So I think we need a lot more education in that.
All right.
And awareness creation.
So how come it got the name Veronica
Okay.
Bekoe?
The survey I did it with a consultant from USAID who was brought down by the USAID Ghana to help with the construction of public health laboratories in the country. It was during the survey that this idea I told you about came up. So she said that because I came up with the idea, she would name it after me. Her name was Dr. Joan Hedrick.
So what would you tell people who have ideas? Some may think their ideas are small, because I'm sure some 30 years back we didn't envision that the Veronica buckets become household items.
Exactly.
People who have ideas who think, oh, maybe my idea is so small. Mm-hmm. Some think I don't have the funding. Some think, or even my friends will laugh at me when they hear the idea because it seems ridiculous. Mm-hmm. What piece of advice will you give to such people?
Using my example, they should never, ever give up on themselves. Like you rightly said, I didn't make much out of my invention. I have come up with so simple. The idea was to use simple, basic things so that everybody could afford or everybody could make them, and it could be used everywhere, even in hamlets. But so I wasn't really serious. I will advise the youth, please don't make my mistake. Whatever you come up with, have confidence that one day it will turn out to be something, and persevere.
You know, we are in an election year, some
Mhm.
few months to election, and the message everyone is preaching is peace, 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 peace. I just want to know what peace message or peace will do you have to fellow Ghanaians out there?
So, you know, elections are not the end of the world. We are all one people with one common destiny. And the only country we have is Ghana. If we look around us, trouble everywhere. So, and the people around us see Ghana as haven. People coming here even for weekends, people scrambling to come and settle here. So I will personally plead with everybody, let peace prevail. The politicians who sent us out to go and cause trouble, they don't send their family members or their children. So please, let's take care of ourselves and our children too, and do the right thing so that peace will prevail.
I mean, your final words to our viewers, to listeners, to all wishes, everyone.
Well, COVID has changed our lives. We are now in the new normal. So I hope the successes that we are chalking, the systems we have put in place to make sure that we don't get this COVID out of hand will be maintained even after COVID.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. Well, viewers, so you heard from Mrs. Veronica Bekoe. If you are inspired, remember to leave your comments in the comment section below. If there's any such story that we could cover as well, just feel free to write to us through our DMs. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media platforms. The show has been Faces of Ghana. My name is Philip Abutiati. And until I see you again on another edition of the show, remember to protect the peace we have as Ghanaians.